Warm welcome, a very good afternoon. I hope you can hear well. We're going to start with some language announcements.
Para recibir traducción desde Windows y Mac en los iconos de control de la reunión, hacemos clic en Interpretación, clic en Español y opcional para escuchar solo el español, clic en Silenciar audio original. De Android y iOS, en los tres puntitos hacemos clic en Interpretación de idiomas, clic en Español y opcional tocamos el interruptor para silenciar el audio original y hacemos clic en Finalizado.
Per poter ascoltare la traduzione linguistica da computer, cercate in basso a destra il simbolo del globo e cliccate su Traduzione. Poi cliccate su Italiano. Facoltativo, per ascoltare solo la traduzione, fare clic su Disattiva audio originale. Da cellulare, nei comandi della riunione toccare Altro, toccare Traduzione linguistica, toccare Italiano, facoltativo, toccare Disattiva audio originale, fare clic su Fatto.
भाषा अनुवाद सुनने के लिए विंडोज़ और मैकिन्टोश आपकी मीटिंग कंट्रोल में पृथ्वी यानी कि ग्लोब्स के साइन पर क्लिक करें। हिंदी पर क्लिक करें। सिर्फ हिंदी सुनने के लिए म्यूट ओरिजिनल ऑडियो पर क्लिक करें। एंड्रॉयड और आईओएस के लिए मीटिंग कंट्रोल में मोर पर क्लिक करें, लैंग्वेज इंटरप्रिटेशन पर क्लिक करें, हिंदी पर टैप करें, डन पर क्लिक करें।
Za kompjutere kliknite na prevod, interpretation, onda kliknite na jezik koji slušate, Western Balkans, i ako želite da slušate samo prevod, kliknite na mute original audio. Za Android i mobilne telefone kliknite 3 tačke i isto ovo ponovite. Odaberite Western Balkan i onda mutirajte originaalni audio i kliknite Done.
Kaikille. Jotta voit kuunnella käännöstä, valitsethan kännykällä 3 pistettä ja sieltä löytyy Interpretation ja Finish. Jos käytät tietokonetta, valitsethan sieltä maapallon ja sieltä löydät kielen Finish. Kiitos.
So, thank you for your patience and listening. Now we're going to listen to a short drill and we'll be listening to the language of silence. So it's like a meditation experience from Abhyak Bapdada for a few minutes and then we'll join back.
सर्वशक्तिवान बन विश्व की आत्माओं को शक्तियों की किरणाएं दो।
So welcome, and such a nice way to begin with this clear positioning. And, yesterday we had lots of questions, and we sent a message to many of you by email that if you want to check out the questions from yesterday, there's an audio in the G Drive. And also the subject of the cycle of time, it was decided we can create a special session next Saturday, and we'll send you the joining details. So that's Saturday, 27th of March at 2 to 3:30 p.m. UK time, to talk about the cyclical time, understanding the cycle. So yesterday there were many secrets touched on. One of them, what is it, what's worth getting passionate about? And the focus of getting Ravan out of oneself. And so we experience being beyond harm, and the secrets of the guest, knows that nothing can belong to them, and how we discover the secrets of the home. So it'll be very fascinating to see how the subject goes today. And warm welcome, and now welcome to Brother Prashant.
Hello and good afternoon. We'll create a few more minutes of attention. And during these minutes, we, as was mentioned just now, go for the highest and the best. We have the option to use the best sight, best intellect. Anyone, even if we have not done even the first lesson, we can go for the highest stage. The secret for this is detachment, freedom. And for this, this highest intellect, the best intellect is such a big help. Because with this intellect, you can at least see the web, clearly understand what is happening. The temporary nature of this whole physical world. With this intellect, with paras, you can see the invisible soul. Ordinarily invisible, but with paras you can see the invisible soul is the invisible guest here, and he has a world beyond. We can clearly see the world beyond. Paras means this. You are able to see the way God sees. And now we can see in this physical level, it's a temporary story. So many stories, just so this is another story. We can see that world for what it is. We are realizing just the understanding makes such a difference. In confusion, he was getting trapped in it, and just seeing it clearly, now he understands. He has a world beyond and he's free. He is loosely involved in this. The conscious soul understands he is independent from the story. Just as anyone thinks, they know they are independent from so many stories in the world. So also the conscious soul understands his independence. And this is most precious for us. We also understand right now Prashant is part of the story. This gathering, it is also happening within the story. But the souls are not part of the story. They are invisible observers. And in this reality beyond, once you are free, these invisible souls, they are able to experience their sky and experience their family of souls. They experience their eternal bond with their supreme friend. Eternal bond. He belongs there. But first becoming free from the web. And as we see, it's a game of how quick. Just using the best intellect. And then we can experience that highest on high Father, highest on high home, and the highest stage. Thank you. Yeah, as was mentioned, this is, we dealt with the questions and they are answered. They are in the G drive. And there will be, there are lots of questions connected with the drama. So we are going to address them. And it is good. This is an opportunity to deal with whatever relevant questions that you have, and we'll try to clarify as much as possible. I want to give you a scenario, and the subject of the weekend, Raz. understanding the secrets and the mystery and surprises, pleasant surprises, and the significance. That is the meaning of Raz. Imagine a person appears in your town, in your city, and he is a person of light. He has no bones, no flesh and bones, made of light. And everyone tells you, oh, there is a person arrived in your town and he's made of light. You will be interested to see him. Further, they realize that he is not from this planet. He's come from another planet, maybe from Mars or beyond. Now there will be many more will be interested to see this. Definitely Musk will come here, before his plans to go to Mars. They will come and see, what is this? Someone coming from beyond Mars. Then you realize that he says he's immortal and no one can harm him. The terrorist can come and bombs and guns, nothing can harm him. That will be very interesting for the medical world. All the doctors will come to see this. He says he's from the family of God. He knows God and he's from that world. Will you be interested to see this person? Do you know someone like that? Is there anyone like that in your place? You can answer if you know anyone coming from another world. And he says his nature is of happiness. He doesn't need your cakes and he doesn't need to go to a coffee club to be happy. His nature is happy and content, naturally content. Do you know anyone like this?
Yes, ourselves, we are all like him. We are.
Yes, excellent. And what an extraordinary truth, all of us. But it also shows you, one fourth of the population of this country says that they have got some psychological, if there is a chance, they would get a psychological consultation, but that is just beyond a certain limit. But not everyone is experiencing this bliss and contentment and happiness and is aware of this. And why? Just one reason: success of Maya. That is, Maya is the enemy. And if something is really, really high, just like a terrorist, they will not go for a small building. They will go for the tallest building or the best hotel. That's what they will aim for that. So also here, Maya, the terrorist, she will aim for this. You got such a extraordinary truth there. Just see, you're talking about being of light, and that too angelic light. You are from another world. It is God's world, supreme reality. Visiting, you are a traveler, huge travel. You are immortal and beyond harm. From the family of God and loved by God. You are right there with God. And you are made of bliss and love and peace and contentment. You are made of that. You don't need anything else. So Maya's challenge is to, Maya cannot remove this. This truth remains. you are beyond harm, that remains. But Maya what can Maya do? Maya can create confusion. That is the only success. Maya can draw you in this web until you are not even aware of it. That gradual confusion, the extreme confusion. So sometimes we use this image, prince, he forgets he's a prince. This is possible, but we don't call it harm. It is, the person is forgetting. But we are also seeing, once we understand the problem, we can address it. We can come out of this darkness and rediscover. Prince rediscovers that he is the prince. Someone who is drowsy has to wake up. Excellent. I'm happy to address any one or two questions, if there are any comments, questions, and then we'll take the subject of today.
Something that came yesterday in one of the rooms. What if you don't like secrets and mysteries, surprises? You may have clarified it when you said they're good surprises, but do you have any comments?
When we do not know the secrets, that is one thing. Until we don't know, how can we like or not like? So first discover the secrets, and then only then you will know whether you like it or not. So these are pleasant secrets, and it is good to be curious to find out more. Then you will know whether you like it or not.
Is sleeping or dreaming our way of returning home every night?
Sleep and dream, not home. To return home, we have to be at a deep level in the state in which we came down. In other words, we have to be free from ego and attachments and the zero vice. It has to be as clean as you were there. That is why it is the supreme home. So, but in the dream, there is a detachment, and we are not going beyond, but we are in the physical level.
In a situation, and I want to benefit myself, but the other person is disappointed and unhappy as a result, then how do I manage that? Because if I please the other person, I am unhappy with the feeling of being used. Any comments?
Our priority is truth. And if you hold on to truth, then everyone wins sooner or later. Like, for example, there are 4 people and they are all finding way to reach London, and they all want to go in different direction. To please someone else, you also go in that direction, then all are losers. You know which is the right direction, you stay with it. Someone will join, someone will not join. Sooner or later, they will join. And then your experience will be useful to them also. So here, our position is hold on to the truth. Don't compromise the truth. And then everyone is a winner.
Thank you. So there are more questions, but I don't know if you want to take them later.
Yes, yes. So we'll come to one of the important Raz. that we need to understand, secrets, and that is about this creation, the human world, how this world exists and how it expands. And in this world, in the nature, there are many parallels. Like, for example, the certain organs of the body have got identical shape with some shells in the sea, some fruit and some leaves. They have similar shape. Some you will see certain nuts. They have the similar appearance as the brain or some organs of the body. Some butterflies, they have got colors on the wings like other animals. So there are patterns in this world, and that is what helps us to grasp the metaphors and analogies. Now this knowledge says, some beautiful insight in this. This human world grows, physical human world grows in the image of a tree. So let us try and see this model of a tree. To start with the physical tree, let us see what happens with the physical tree. For a physical tree, to start with, there is the seed. That's the first thing that has to come. And what is the function of the seed? Do you want to tell? You plant a stone and you plant a seed. There is a difference. So what is the uniqueness of the seed? You plant something else. You can plant bone. It is not going to create some animal. But you plant a seed, what does it do? At a fundamental level, what does it do?
There's a few answers. Gives life to something, nourishes life, germinates, sprouts.
Sure. One nice way to see it, seed has got a property to take in the molecules that are around it. Those molecules may be in the dirt and the mud, dirty water. It takes in the molecules and transforms those molecules into cells like itself. That is the function. Seed has the property to create another duplicate of the same kind. The other cells of the body cannot. You plant, that's why you plant a bone, it will not create another bone. But within the seed, there is a cell that can create another cell. And where does it come from? From the mud and the dung that is around. No problem. So if the seed is a sandalwood seed, it will take these dirty, smelly things and create fragrance, transforms it, and creates another cell. And this cell itself has fragrance. So the seed in any tree, it starts with a seed. Seed has got the first creation. If you are sprouting some bean or something, first sprout that comes, what is it? What is the what becomes of that sprout? First shoot that comes out. What is its destiny?
The root.
First sprout is the root. That's right. So the first creation comes out, and that is the root, and then the root multiplies and creates, all the branching of the roots. And roots and the seed, they have similar function. Roots also take in molecules bring them in, transform them, and create more cells like itself. Time comes, the trunk comes out, and trunk grows. It is very beautiful, little few leaves, and then it grows. Then the branches comes out. If the tree is supposed to have just 50 leaves, then it will have less branches. But if that particular kind of tree is to have 50,000 leaves, then it will have many, many branches. It will sort of spread out completely because it has to accommodate, so many leaves. And the tree continues to get bigger and bigger, and lots of flowers and sparkle, many things happen. And finally, what happens? It sort of starts to disintegrate different parts. And the cobwebs come, and the birds create nests, and there are empty nests, and some part is broken, and then one day the whole tree collapses. But before it collapses, what happens? Before the tree collapses, anyone from the gardening experience? During the lockdown, lots of you must be doing gardening.
It produces more seeds.
Yes, and the seed comes back again. Yeah, that's excellent. Now, this human souls, this knowledge says we have the pattern like the tree, and that is a different insight into our world, and a very useful model for sociology. And it gives you some insight into what to predict also. So to start with, we all are in the home, all the souls in the home. And home is a home of silence, that we are not into expansion. It is all merged, just like the seed. Seed is all merged. It is not. It has got formula for the fruit and the flowers and colors, but it is merged. So in the supreme home, one name for supreme home, Brahmand, and in the etymology, the word is egg or seed. It is like the supreme home, the supreme seed. So in the home, we all exist in our potential. Souls are also in the seed form. But expression starts in the physical level. So at a physical level, first the seed comes. And seed is, of course, God. He has a part at a physical level. Sorry. So if there is a seed, the supreme being, his part, let us say that is the beginning of this tree. And he is forever Paras. He is forever soul conscious. That means a lot. Someone who is forever soul conscious, never crosses the line. And what does it mean? Forever in truth, no trace of Ravan. Then that being experiences that natural qualities of the soul. He has no reason ever to, and the drama is there, story is there, story is story. So no reason ever to have desire, disappointment, not even the slightest. So zero sorrow. zero desires. But if that is zero, what remains is bliss. So he's the one who experiences that ocean of bliss, full bliss. We often use this image. Glass of milk, no drop of poison, you get milk. So here is a personality. All souls are like him. But in his case, forever it is zero drop of poison. And so he experiences that bliss and contentment and peace, and it remains the ocean of love. But to be in that state itself is a state of wisdom. And freedom from Ravan, that's what we call purity. It is like full, that is his natural personality. And that personality comes in the physical world. The physical world, that time, it is the iron-aged world. Iron-aged world means everyone is 100% into ego and attachments and selfishness and greed. It is like full. The knowledge is zero. Stone intellect is the popular one. So, in other words, the seed comes in the dirty mud. But no problem. Whoever comes close is lucky. Whichever molecule ends up being close, they are lucky because they get transformed. They become cells like himself. And they become part of the root formation, the root network. Seed and the root are incognito. They are underground. But the work is going on. Enormous work is going on with the seed and the root. And the seed and the roots are bringing about a task of transformation. Then the physical expansion starts, and that is the beginning of the physical reality. It cannot stop. If the seed and the roots are there, if they say sandalwood seed and the sandalwood roots, then the shoot has to come sooner or later, and fragrance will come out sooner or later. So also this tree comes up, and since the seed itself is of 100% purity, the first creation is of 100% purity. That is what we call golden age, and it continues further as silver age. Here it is a perfect, small little world of perfection. Small compared to what happens at the end of Iron Age. Population is very small, but there is a perfection and there is unity, one world, one nation, one opinion, and they see it themselves as one family, one race, one, whether you call it one system, dharma. That continues, golden age, silver age. But then from there, the branching starts. That is the beginning of the copper age. And different branches at different points. And this branching is in the name of religions, race, nations. In different way. The law of the tree is a branching. And since this tree is to have billions of souls, already it is reaching 7.8 billion. So it may go up 8 billion very soon. So this kind of tree will need many branches. And these branches subdivide further. Law is that it will subdivide further. In one place, in a lecture in a university, someone asked me, do you work for unity of this world? And the answer is no. We can't work for unity of this world, because the law is of division. But we work at another level. We work as we are emphasizing. We want to get the truth right, and it will address everything in its own way. But am I trying to address division and create unity with imperfect souls? No, that is not possible. The law is such. So it is not just branching, the branches divide further. I don't particularly say it is wrong. Tree that has got many branches, it is beautiful. Just a variety. One going towards the east, other going towards the west. As long as you understand what is going on, no problem. So in a society, different opinions. That is nice. That is the way it is. The tree is like that. Different religions, different nations, different appearances. Like if you see 10 people, they're all different. They all look different. Their personalities are different. This tree is made of variety. It's a variety tree. Now, in this, we get some insights. These branches, they start with the new souls. As the tree is expanding, new souls are coming in, and new souls come in these branches. New branches that open up with the new souls. For example, this one branch, Christ souls comes at a certain point, and then the branch of Christianity starts. It's a new soul, Christ. And the new souls of the Christian branch, they come at that time. New soul, it can be branch of in a Sikh religion and branches of Buddhism, different branches. Prophets, they are coming fresh from the soul world, as we saw. Then what happens? The new souls, because they are fresh, they are coming from the soul world for the first time, they have sparkle and cleanliness, and they don't have Ravan, in the same big form. But also they are lucky. They don't have Vinash forces with them. And so you will see some sparkle in that area, that community. There will be sparkle at that time. And that explains many things we see on this planet. So these branches subdivide, and they subdivide, new branches come. Each of these sub-branch also has got their own, you can call father of that branch and father of that sub-branch. Not like was that prophet in that area. And that sustains that branch. Like someone showed me a nice connection, personal, parents lived in Goa. And so one time I was talking with one sister, and she was asking, we were talking, and she showed me a connection. At that time, particularly, in the whole of India, Punjab and Goa, they were considered to be more prosperous than rest of Bharat, rest of India. And both these places, Goa and Punjab, have got new religions. Goa has got Christianity and Punjab has got Sikh religion. Rest of India is older. Hindu religion is older religion. And that time she could sort of see the connection. These new religions, their new branches, they will be more prosperous compared to the rest of them. If you see that way, you can explain, what is happening on this planet. Even some countries, they have got old population in a country and new population. They say old India, new India now, old China, new China. So there are many souls that are coming, and they got their own sparkle, new souls. They got a sparkle. They are more likely to be creative, and they bring this new ideas and richness to the country, community. And there are old souls, they are not getting the benefit of this new world to the same extent. And these new branches that are coming, these days there is a X generation, Y generation, and there's different generations. That gives you the pattern, these new branches still coming out. Population is still increasing on this planet. At a certain rate, it is still increasing. So these new souls are coming up, the branching is going on. And there are old souls, that is, after a certain time, they are having the burden of the Ravan. So they are struggling. New souls are creative, and new souls are flying in a sense. They are happy, they are on the celebrity world. And the old ones, they are dealing with the Vinash forces. So that is what you will be seeing in many communities. But the tree cannot expand indefinitely. There is a finite number of leaves. There is an oak tree, it cannot have unlimited expansion. It reaches a certain point, and the next destiny of the tree, it collapses. Catches fire. Something goes wrong, and that is enough, the whole tree to disappear. But before the tree collapses, the seed comes. You've already the new tree process has already started elsewhere before the old tree collapses. So with this human world tree, the seed has already come. So that is giving us a big signal, and we come to know a big secret. What is going to happen to the old tree? The seed has come, the process of the formation of the new tree has already started, and this old tree going into the expansion, going through its last phase. We also know what we are preparing for, whether it is through our human behavior or political behavior or science. There are many reasons why this tree can catch fire, but that is the destiny of the old tree and the old new tree. We are getting a little signal here, Raz. Very different thinking compared to what the Big Bang model that we are listening to or bombarded with. It's a different model altogether. Once you are understanding this, now we all have a question. How do we use our time? Where do we invest? Should I invest my time or your money? Should you invest your money in the old building or new building? If you are to build a new house, should you spend more money on the old or the new? This model that we saw gives us the insight. If you got time and if you got your thoughts, and if you want to invest your resources, invest in the new tree, golden age tree that has future. This old tree, it will be a waste if we see it this way. We are not contributing to the destruction, but you can contribute to the establishment. Just a rough model we have discussed. It will be nice to hear some thoughts from you.
Yes, that will be some very nice questions coming up. When you were talking about the seed and the fortune of being close to the seed, if we are all the same and equal to the Supreme, what determines who is closer to him and who are not? Why in this, if not all are, why is there this discrimination?
Discrimination. What happens? We all the souls of the world, we got a home. We all got a home, and there is absolute equality. All are in the first prize. All are very dear to God, very, very much like God. All are immortal. So there is absolute equality even with God itself. But at the physical level, so we can say everyone gets the first prize. First prize they all got. And when they come home, they discover this. Now drama is another situation. Drama is drama. And drama, there is a variety. It is a law. By law, it is a variety. In a tree, there is a variety. Not every cell can belong to the trunk or can belong to the flower or belong to the leaf. There is variety. Some are part of the leaf, some are part of the fruit. Each one has its own sparkle and need. Without a leaf, the tree will not be complete. There will be no fruit either if there is no leaf. Without the fruit, there will be no seeds. So it is variety within it, and so that is the way it is. We sometimes have to use the word. That's the way it is. Sun is acting as a sun, moon is as moon, so that's the way it is. So some are getting this closer to the seed. It appears like a chance, but there may be more factors than chance. And there is an aspect of karma also within it. And like, for example, right now, we are here. There are in your town, there are possibly thousands of others, who are not connected right now. They are busy watching football or something else. So there is a variety. Some get a chance, some. But having said that, why are you here? Because you've been searching. That's why you are here. You give it a priority. In the same way, there are some in this world who have been searching for this. The God, searching for golden age, wanted to come out of this Ravan. They've been doing it for a long time, many births maybe. And so there are factors of that kind. They are the ones who recognize. Many cells may be very close to the seed, but they also let go of the seed. But some recognize and don't want to let go.
Thank you. Hope that helps. Where is the new tree, and how do we know the new tree has arrived?
At the moment, it is at the seed and the root level, and seed and the root is underground. But Those who are searching for it will never miss it. As we said, everything needs some level of dedication.
You need paras to see what's happening underground.
Yes.
So we have 6 billion souls that came over the past 130 years. However, a majority of humanity is suffering. But these 6 billion are new souls. So how come they're not sparkling?
Those who are new, those who have come in the last part of the last, like as you are saying, in the last 200 years, very fact that they are coming so late in the cycle, they also have less power. They cannot maintain that the sparkle. They cannot stay behind the line for too long. As you see, lots of these celebrities in the same life, they are already into drugs and they are already into some kind of they start with lots of dignity and honor, but lose power very quickly. Something similar with the souls who are coming now, and that's why the karma changes. So when we are talking about 130 years, which means 2-3 births, have already happened. That's why the pattern changes. But new souls, those who are new in the first part of their journey, there is definitely sparkle. Sociology says half of Americans, and it may be something similar, may apply to many other countries also, but sociology, Giddens is professor in sociology in Cambridge. He says half of Americans have got a lifestyle similar to the nobles in France in the 17th century. You understand? So in the 17th century nobles, they could afford that lifestyle with some 30 servants maybe. They were the new souls at that time. And they can have someone doing their washing and someone doing the gardening and someone. Now half of Americans can have the lifestyle, possibly even smarter than the nobles of the 17th century France. You get an idea? Because of science, because of technology. So science, technology has arrived to serve these new souls. It has arrived before this huge expansion is to take place. Before this, and so also what is coming today, in science and technology gives you an idea what is to happen to the tree next. That is the Raz. If you use this little bit, you may come to know, predict what is going to happen to the tree next. So Newton was 300 years ago. So Newton and this branch of the science and technology, it just arrived before the big expansion was to happen, so that they all can have the smartness.
Like symbiotic.
Yes.
Like in nature, will produce enough berries for the winter for the birds.
Yes.
Very interesting. Would a new soul be interested in religion?
Depending upon the branch he belongs to. If that soul belongs to the branch of certain, it can be the main religion, like Catholic branch, or it can be, this Christian branch. It has got, do you know how many denominations today? 36,000 denominations, which means different branches, small branches, and 2.2 billion people in that branch. So depending upon which branch they belong, they will practice. They will be very, very serious in that. In the early part, they will be very serious with that structure. But some branches may not be very religious. They may be just interested in science. There may be a sparkle around Einstein, or there may be a branch around that. Then Einstein is even called father of modern science. So there may be a branch around Einstein.
Nice. Why don't prophets get entry in the golden age?
Sure. As we were saying, tree has its every fruit has its place, and every leaf has its place. They all are important at different points. And you cannot have fruit in the trunk. The fruit has to come at its own time in its own place. So also here, there are the souls who play a very important part to sustain that branch. And they are the ones whom we call prophets or founders of that religion. That part is a different part. And they themselves may not want to come to golden age. That is the part they want to play, and then because of that part they get a reward also. So they become after the main part of the prophet, they play the part of saint, and after that play the part of kings or emperors. So that continues in that branch. But just also wanted to add in this model of the tree, the founders of religion, they are part of they are connected to the trunk. And so they have a relation with God. They will talk about God. This is what you will see in different way, but the language may differ, but they are connected to the trunk, if I can say that. Whereas those within the branches, tendency will be to connect to the prophet, not to God. They might say that prophet himself is God, this kind of attitude, that particular prophet. And whereas prophet himself talks about God. And the reason I'm talking about Einstein, if this is just I'm talking from my head, lots of scientists, they say, I don't want to know about God. I'm scientist, this kind of language. But Einstein talks about God. He lots of references to God in his writings, but in his speech, Newton speaks about God. Whereas the people in the branch, they want to worship Newton, they want to worship Einstein, but not God.
Okay, thank you. Does this tree produce a single seed?
Yes.
One seed.
Yeah, there is just one seed, and that's why God.
The population of the Western world is decreasing. Does it mean that souls are being born in countries where population is increasing?
Yes, there is also rebirth and reincarnation. That is also so. New souls are coming. Maybe the number of new souls who are to come, that is going to decrease. As we said, the tree cannot expand forever, and then the old souls continue with their journey depending on the karma and the future destiny.
Earlier, you were talking about how the advent of technology gives us clues to what's happening next. How is it serving the new souls? Would you just like to, is there anything more you'd like to add to that? I think that was...
Technology at the different generations, we were saying, for example, 17th century nobles, they were new souls at that time, and they were given a lifestyle in a certain way, maybe very organic food and fresh air, and they had some gardens, and they were sort of little dukes and lords of that area in a peaceful life in south of France, and go to the sea in summer. Now it is different. In last 50 years, the new souls, they can cram in so many things in 1 week. They can fly, do things. Many things are done in 1 week and finished. And then karma, different kind of karma. They finish their golden time, go to the next phase. The new generation right now with technology, maybe experiencing all this on their internet. No, I'm joking here. I wonder what is going to happen. With the technology, they will see lots of things in there, amazing, cubicle, the whole universe, and I wonder what is going to happen. But technology comes to provide the smart experience in a very short time.
Yes, that's helpful.
We have to churn on this. But I'm myself curious to see this certain, this new generation. They are born in different cultures, and parents are different. But these people, someone born in Japan, someone born in Europe, and someone born in South Africa, they have got similar personalities, similar tendencies, similar likes, and they are connecting with each other. So this is a new world we are dealing with.
Thank you. And the variety in this human world tree, is it connected with levels of purity and the quality of expression?
Variety is, many may be equally pure, but just it is different expression. And one is having one kind of country, one language. Another has got different country, different language. They may be equally pure, not based on purity. Different religions and different, it is just expression. little the variation. They may like certain things, like those who belong to a certain branch, they like that. They like that structure. They like that uh, style, the way they do things. And another branch, they like different things. That's why what might work for France may not work for some other country or some other culture or some other branch. This gives us an insight to understand that tree, there is a variety, and we may need to understand what is the pattern there.
So there's a few questions about prophet souls. How did they know about heaven? And do they get knowledge in the confluence age?
Yes, at the confluence age, all the souls, we can be going back home only through knowledge, directly, indirectly, but it is the process of knowledge that purifies us and that makes us eligible for the next cycle. But the questions connected with the cycle and drama, we will take it in more detail uh, in our special session.
What way did Newton and Einstein speak about God?
In what way?
Yes.
And there's a famous reference to Einstein. He refers to God in lots of contexts. How would God plan this kind of reference? His famous quote is, "Science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind." So he very much, and when quantum physics came up, he said, God doesn't play dice. Quantum physics has got the principle of uncertainty, and Einstein's famous quote. But he refers the word God is, and Newton, his famous reference, what he sees in this world, including gravity, he said, he cannot explain it without God creating it. So he very much has the idea within the Christian context. Newton was Christian and taught in a Christian model.
Excellent, thank you. So I don't know whether this is a good time to create space for discussion.
Sure.
And is there any subject question to focus the sharings?
The big question for us is to understand the raz of what are the secrets you see within this creation, within this model. How does this model explain what we see in this world? That will be good. But I might like to create 2 minutes of silence before the break, so before the breakout.
Yes, that would be good.
Is it right now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this discussion is still a little expansion, which is nice for us to go into expansion and understand, since we are dealing with this physical world, to know different ways of looking at this physical world and subtleties behind it. But now let us come to the essence. And the essence is coming behind the theater and the tree and the variety, coming behind. Why are we doing this? Because all this expansion has a power to draw us in. That is the whole thing, that is sticky. That the expansion can get stuck. That's why we need to use the intellect and the sight and learn to see the story. It is still a story. And by that we mean we can put a full stop. Nothing really matters. One branch goes east, another goes west. No problem. We can put a full stop. And we come behind. And behind is the real world. True family, true father, true treasures, true home, and the true self. Real world. And this is a world that matters. This is an auspicious world. Everyone is lovely, everyone is authentic, godlike, and childlike. Everyone is safe. They are immortal. It's a world of love. Everyone is worthy of love, loved by God. We are understanding. Truth is immensely beautiful. As we continue on our journey in the sky, on earth, we remember our beautiful truth. Thank you.
Thank you. We put the question in the chat, and to give you a minute to reflect on it, and also perhaps you'd just be happy to complete a poll just to find out everyone's background. Helps the facilitators on the retreat to know who is joining. And if anyone would like more details about what the morning class is, and then we can either connect you to your local center, or we can be in touch on email as well. So thank you for those who participated, just to share the results with everyone. So we'll go into rooms, and if everyone has a chance to share, if you have time, would be lovely. And also, if you're happy to use cameras, it's a really nice way to meet each other, and see you back in about 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I hope it was smooth running and you enjoyed. Let's take a minute together for some silence. Thank you. I'm going to first welcome Rosemary, who's joining today from Global House in London. And I hope you can hear well. Be nice to hear your reflections on what the topic was today, anything that came up.
Sure. Thank you very much, Sarah. Yeah. Very interesting, very rich from our 5 group, 6 of us actually, including me. And I'll just, I made a note of each one's what they said, and I think it's interesting because they were all slightly different, which is always interesting for everybody else. The first person said that each leaf is very different. We have to appreciate and accept each leaf as they are. And then someone said, what a great analogy this is. It's a really great analogy, and I love the tree too. And it's wonderful to be part of it. And it means that I have to take responsibility for all my actions. I have to dedicate myself so that I can help the tree grow. And then Shuna said, we have a choice. We always have a choice. Either am I going to try and revive the old tree, which is so true, or am I going to nurture the seed? And not to compare with each other, because each part is necessary. And something new for us was, for me too, was the molecules, the understanding, the scientific idea of the molecules attracting the water and growing another one identical to itself. I didn't really understand any of that, but now I'm beginning to understand more and more. I had no idea. And then the branches, the profits being, was interesting to one sister who said that the profit on the branches, they are all part of the trunk. In other words, well, they're not really part of the trunk, but they have all connected to God at some point in the confluence age, which is good news for them. And that's why, of course, they have purity when they come down. And then this other idea that the tree makes it a natural order of things, which is a nice way of putting it, a natural order. You know, the tree grows from the seed and it dies and it starts again, and, you know, but it's all happening in an incognito way underground. And of course, that relates to us at the moment. And in essence, it's very simple. But for me, I love this idea of comparing the drama, the tree, the cycle, to a theatre production, because everybody on that stage isn't the hero actor. There has to be the maid who comes on, who never says a word and goes off again. And there has to be a prince who comes on, plays the dramatic part of the lover. There has to be all different parts in a theatre production. And no part is better or worse than the other, but it is all needed to make the whole. And so for me, that play, the theatre, and I used to be a great theatre goer, is a great analogy that makes me understand the tree, which is so comforting. Somebody in our group used the word comforting. The tree is comforting to know how it all is, and that it just is, and to accept that with our hearts and our souls, and so that we can be relaxed and content. Because if I'm content, then things are going to work for me. I don't know if that's enough. Is that enough, Sarah?
Yeah, it's lovely. I love the way you created a revision and also shared what was important in the group and how many areas it touched on as well. Yes, that's so nice. And bringing the aspect of the drama and the variety, just like a tree, you need the variety of branches. Thank you so much, Rosemary. And we're not going too far from you. We're going to also invite Margaret from Global Health. So it'd be really nice to hear also what came up for you and your group. Anything you'd like to share?
Well, actually, many of the things that Rosemary shared did come up in our group too, especially a bit about this scientific aspect of the molecule, and that it can create something similar to itself or what it needs, and that this is the law. And so one soul was sharing how, that in a way that means that whatever is going on around us, mud or whatever it is, rubbish, the law is that we can transform it to something that is useful to us if we work with that same principle. So it's not that anything is right or wrong, or we can make it all beneficial to our progress. So that was by the way of our vision, we can see benefit in it and beauty in it, and also the flower. So the flower has its time of beauty, but it also has its time of decay. And if we understand that this analogy, that there'll always be the next seed, or you always can plant another seed, that then you don't mind the decay. When we go out in the garden and we see a flower that's had its time, but now it's decaying, we don't mind, because we know it will come again. So there's another principle in there for all of us, that, even though at this time we know that the world is actually in a descent, in a decay, we can be totally fine with it, because we know that the seed's here and the new tree is coming. So these were a couple of things. The other thought that comes out, someone else mentioned that the real transformation, again, it came up in Rosemary's discussion, that it's not about outside transformation, it's about an inside transformation. And I think it came up yesterday that we're not here to improve the outside. Of course, you can make little improvements where you are, but it's more about the big inner transformation that we're looking at. And then the other point that came up was that the priority here is truth. This is the big priority, is truth. And if we look at the tree and we realize that the priority is the seed is truth. And if our priority is truth, then we have to be close to the seed. And it's understanding where at this moment in time would be the most advantageous place to be on the tree. And if we understand that the most advantageous place to be would be to be a root and close to the seed, and only taking from the seed, and knowing that whatever comes from that seed is going to be good, because the seed is truth, the seed is God. That any connection that we're going to make with God as the seed, it has to be by kind of law or whatever, it has to be good, it has to nourish us in some way, it has to help us kind of grow. Then we can sort of let go of the leaves and be with the seed. And just because I have the population figures, I just thought it was kind of interesting that I'm just talking about the billions at the moment, that in 1800 there was 1 billion. And in 1930, by 1930 it had gone up to 2 billion. I think it's 1927 sometimes, but around time 1930 it was 2 billion. And then by 1959, 1960, which was the birth of this physical birth of this soul, there was 3 billion. And so in the last 60 years, there's been nearly, there's been 4 billion, but there's been nearly 5 billion that have arrived in the last 60 years. So this is quite a big realization and something to understand, that most on the planet have been here very, very short space of time. So what expectation can we have of them if they've only been here a very short space of time? We know they're going to initially come and bring some sparkle, but we also then know that in a very short space of time, it's a lot's going to happen to those souls. So, you know, just being aware of that most souls probably, they'll want our good wishes, they'll want our vibrations of peace, they'll want, you know, they'll want us to be happy around them, to uplift them in some way. But much more than that, they may not actually want from us. So it's really understanding that the majority of souls, but the souls who want to be close to the roots, you know, those souls will understand quite quickly. They'll want to know more. They'll want to get close to the seed. So these are some of the thoughts that in our group would discuss. Shanti.
Shanti, and thank you. There was a comment in the chat that you look very young for your age. And that is interesting, and to see the figures and to understand what is the secret now for how things are turning and what the karmic accounts are. So I'm sure we're all, I can see they're brimming with questions and thoughts on this. So thanks to both of you for clarifying and summarizing and bringing the angles you did. So we still have a little bit of time, and hand over to Prashant. There is a question that came about animals. How do cats and dogs and animals fit into this tree?
Sure.
Amongst other questions.
Yes. Hi, thank you. Yes, and sure, let us deal with the questions. We said it is a variety tree, and our huge emphasis is understanding the human aspect of this tree, and because that is where the initial transformation will start and it has to happen. But in this variety tree, there are animals and different species, branches of these different animals. And they have reincarnation also. And that reincarnation can only happen within that branch. Like say, if there are swans, they will have reincarnation amongst the swans. And if the horses, they will have reincarnation amongst the horses. So there's some variation maybe, just like with human beings, we can be male, female, one country or another country. There may be something of that kind within them. But there are souls. In animals, there are souls. In the vegetable kingdom, there is no soul, but there is life, energy.
Okay, thank you. Is it possible to go from one branch to another?
Yes. Then this is another phenomena that happens. During the tree, as the tree expands, those of the trunk, trunk disappears after the silver age. That's why the image is given of the banyan tree. Banyan tree, as it expands, the trunk disappears. Just the branches continue with their own roots. And this human tree has that pattern. And so they all go into different branches, and also souls from one branch can go into other branches. So this is what, not in a big way, but that phenomena does happen. We do cross different branches. But at some point, we have to come back to where we belong. We will be comfortable in that place.
Okay, thank you. There was a comment from the Italian group. Not all go to the golden age. This is the new understanding. So some will remain in their role. And that didn't really feel so comfortable, that not all will come and enjoy this first period. Do you have any comments?
Yes, I agreed. Another golden age is a special time, and we would like to encourage, make it easy. That is what the emphasis from the father is. Make effort for the golden age, go for that first prize. And Maya will say it is all kinds of excuses and limitations, but you overcome Maya. In that you are useful to others also. If you fly, you make it easy for others to fly. So with that understanding, you make the effort. But when I'm seeing objectively, someone doesn't come in the golden age. Whenever he comes, he will have his golden time. That's why we said there is a sparkle at the beginning when they come. And we have to accept. And that is the way it is. The tree has variety, but we can be, we don't have to feel bad about it, but because everyone gets the first prize, because in the home, everyone is equal, and there is equality, and they all have the best experience.
And yes, thank you. And Rosemary's also typed, each religion has their gold and silver and copper and iron phases. Just to clarify from an earlier question about branches, does it mean we generally keep reincarnating into the same branch of like race, culture, nationality, or geographic location?
And the cycle is identical. So whatever we experienced last time, it will be the same cycle repeating. Yeah.
Maybe within like one's own journey, maybe one life, next life will also be in the same branch of Christianity, or
Yeah, and, not to see it that way, because the soul, the soul conscious soul, he is experiencing his own inner life, richness of the inner life. In the outer life, it is nice to see whatever they are experiencing. When we are seeing from ego, it appears, oh, it is a boring thing. But from a soul conscious position, it is not boring. They are rich experiences.
yes, thank you. One question is about what appears to be a paradox. If God is the seed of the tree and human cells come from the seed and the root, are we not a little piece of the seed, and that we are each a little bit of God? I think this is the question. And do we then not merge with him? Some question about this.
Yeah,
Any
sure,
comment?
sure. What happens is we get company from God. And just as, your friends influence you in some form, we all the time are influenced by company. Your parents have influenced you in some way, not that you have to be part of your friends and you don't have to merge into friends, but there is a positive or negative influence, of the company you have. So here you come in company with God, understand what is, how he is seeing things, what he knows, and it is a company. You understand, you say, your changer, just as what is happening here. We are discussing some ideas, and it makes us question, and to some extent, some degree, we change our thinking, and this is all the same. So when we are coming in contact with the Supreme Father, we understand his thinking, his model, what he experiences, what is possible. And then why do we need to stay with ignorance and Ravan and vices? You bring about change. We don't need to merge into him.
Hope that helps. So one question, science says there is life on other planets, or maybe they're open to that idea. Is it possible there are a lot more souls and they belong to a different planet and we call them aliens?
So far, science has no evidence on that. And if there is any information there, large part of the universe is uninhabitable. That understanding is there. But it is possible that because universe is so vast, maybe anything is possible. There may be. But at a very practical level, the nearest galaxy is 4 light years away. When someone goes at a speed of light, it will take him 4 years to reach the nearest galaxy. So even if there is some civilization somewhere, it is not relevant to us at the moment. We have to work with those who are on this planet and do the best at this level. The spiritual model and this knowledge says that planet Earth is the center stage. The big drama is happening here on this planet Earth.
Yes, thank you. So coming back to this planet Earth, one question, why is it the souls who have come in the last maybe 180 or 100 years have less power? What exactly are you meaning by power? Can they not get power from surroundings or God, community?
Sure. What happens as in any tree also, if there are certain cells at a trunk, they need to be stronger because they have to support the tree for many years. The cells that come later on in the twigs, they are bound to be not so strong. So you can use the word power for that. And so there will be different. And the root, there will be different power compared to some leaf. Something similar happens here. Those who come at the beginning of this journey, the tree, they have to, very reason, out of 8 billion, if a very small population starts at the beginning of the golden age, so why would they come at the beginning of the golden age? They need power to sustain their soul consciousness for a long time. Golden age, silver age, many births. They have to sustain that soul consciousness and not cross the line. That is power. And at the confluence age, we have to imbibe that power. We have to make ourselves so strong that we are not pulled by these little things of the drama and cross the line easily. So if we have made ourselves strong, then that is a qualification for the beginning of the cycle. So if someone has less power, then the scheme of things, it is no one is choosing it, but the natural mechanism will make it such that he will come later. Because if he comes at the beginning, loses power in first birth itself, it will be extremely painful. Rest of the journey will be struggle. So they come towards the end of the cycle. The word power is used, but as long as we understand it is the spiritual power which has to be imbibed at a confluence age.
Yes, I think one comment in the chat that when there are lots of scars on the soul, they have less power. Perhaps after a long journey, it is a recharging going on. So old souls may not be feeling very powerful, but it's this time we need to reawaken the highest consciousness. Do you have any comments on that? Because sometimes there may be, Maya may like to make an argument, and Maya's trump card is to say you are weak.
Yeah, I agreed. This is the time to charge the souls, to make the souls powerful. So when we come to God, He doesn't say you should be powerful to come to Him. He knows this is the old soul, no problem, as it is, empty, no problem, come, and He changes it. But applying the method, then that is where the soul becomes stronger.
Yes, thank you. Maybe one final question. Speaking of the seed, if we all are like the seed, do we all have the same essence?
Yeah, we are made in the image of God. That is very, very true. We are made absolutely in the image of God. Souls are like Him in all respects. And it is good to accept this and celebrate it. See yourself worthy to be in the company of God. But at a soul level, that is the only caution. Because ego also might like to say, yes, I'm like God, but it is at the body level and the drama level. Then it is a wrong position. But the soul is like God in every respect.
Thank you. And we do have another drill, a meditation experience we can play. Do you want to share any final thoughts or any reflection for contemplation before we meet again?
Yes, as we did it earlier, today the subject is understanding Raz, but it takes us into details and the expansion of the tree. But we will enjoy expansion to the extent it is balanced with essence. So great time to step back completely out of the story. Some image we used yesterday, John is out of the Star Wars and with his mommy and daddy. Happy to be the point and happy to be in that solitude. Come in that experience of complete essence, often. And that is what helps us understand expansion and also enjoy expansion.
Thank you. So enjoy your experiments with solitude and essence, and letting the impressions be there. And also any questions that come up, you can send them by email or save them for tomorrow. So we're going to share a drill for maybe 5 minutes. It's meditation, words spoken in meditation from Abhyak Bapdada, and we'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you.
अभी एक सेकंड में सभी प्रमाण अपने राजयोग के अभ्यास करते हुए मन को एकाग्र करने का मालिकपन मन को जहाँ जाओ जितना समय जाओ जैसे जाओ वैसे अभी अभी मन को एकाग्र करो। कहाँ भी मन यहाँ वहाँ चंचल नहीं हो। मेरा बाबा मीठा बाबा प्यारा बाबा अच्छा